Good morning, comrades. You are listening to WHIVLP New Orleans 102.3. This is your weekly Good Morning Comrade. Jeff holding it down, and we have Robert is back, baby. Let's go. What is up, Robert?
I'm back. I'm scrolling Steam as we talk, and RoboCop Rogue City's only $10. That's a pretty good deal for
RoboCop Rogue City. What is
it? For like a B. It's a RoboCop game. It's for a B level game. It's like a B. It's a solid B. It's not the greatest game in the world, but like it definitely does RoboCop right. Like you have to go to RoboCop's therapy appointments. I think I'm gonna buy this. Okay. RoboCop you literally have to like go to his therapy appointments. It's fucking great.
Okay.
I cussed. I cussed, so get that out. My bad. I haven't been on the show for so long. Like
back on the radio. You can't say them words.
I know, right? I'm sorry. I haven't been on the show for so long.
Like man, and you missed some stuff while you were gone, man. Donald Trump has been doing crazy stuff, and you know what else happened? For the first time in 20 years, John Cena turned heel.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, he really did. This past
how did he do it? Like,
so he it's like this show called The Elimination Chamber, right? They have this like big cage where they have 6 guys or whatever in there, and they all beat each other up. And The Rock's out there, like he's kind of playing this character of like Satan himself, and he's like saying, "I'm gonna get Cody Rhodes' soul or whatever. Right. Like he's gonna pledge it to me."
So he's just being Dwayne. He's being Dwayne.
Yeah. Okay. And then basically like he gives like John Cena wins the Elimination Chamber, and he's on this like retirement tour, like this is the last time we're doing it, we're going big, hustle, loyalty, respect. And then he like gives Cody Rhodes this big old hug after it's over. Like Cody Rhodes tells The Rock to go F off or whatever, and then The Rock like does the high sign, he like does a throat slash, and John Cena like makes this like mean mug that you probably saw on social media while he's hugging Cody Rhodes, and he just beats the ass off of him.
I haven't watched wrestling in forever. Like I have no idea, but I guess if the Rock is like full time in it, then hell,
he did this last year. He did like the like WrestleMania season thing.
Yeah. I saw that, and that was good work. And it's just him being actual Dwayne is like what it is. Like that's not even a character. That was good work though. But like I've been saying John Cena should have went heel for forever, and he should just go back to.
You've been saying that for 20 years, bro.
Like he should go back to like Thugonomics. Like that was a good tweener character. But no, things are crazy, bro. Like my house is even more wrecked than usual because it's like post Mardi Gras. I've got like costuming stuff that has to like get put away in the costuming box. I have like glue sticks that are just randomly around.
For Mardi Gras purposes?
Yeah, for Mardi Gras purposes. Like Mardi Gras was sick. We did all the all like the cool Mardi Gras stuff, except for go to Mom's Ball. Like this is going to be a very New Orleans centric pod. Let's talk about that for a sec before you. Let's do dessert first.
Let's go
dessert first, and then you can make us eat our vegetables later. So I had a really good Mardi Gras, and most of the reasons why is because I did the things I wanted to do and did not do the things that I did not want to do. So I didn't go to really any parades. Except for I went
work.
I went to Crew of. No, I didn't even do anything for work. I didn't have to do none of that. I went to Crew of Red Beans, and then I did go to the parade that Erin was, because she works at a school, so it's like to support her. I had to dip out of the show for that. But like I went to like Crew of Red Beans, and I was in like Crew of St. Anne, and those were amazing. Like, I mean, it was amazing in. Okay, so Bywater people, think of if you're not a New Orleans listener, if Portlandia ever wanted to do a spinoff, it would obviously be here. It would not be Austin. It would be here. Like we could do it. So think of like the most annoying people you could meet in Portlandia, and they all live in this neighborhood called the Bywater. But when I say annoying, I mean like I'm not mad at it. It's just, it's a different type of like status and a different type of, instead of asking you where you work, what do you do, or what college you graduated from, they're going to ask you what parties you went Like this is like a currency exchange in status for these people. And I can live with that. Like it's fine because the people that they hang out with are also going to be very cool. And so we went into the quarter and, we just ended up, it was like Mardi Gras magic because we split off from the Crew of St. Anne. And then like my wife and I, and we just, we followed the roaming DJs that had like shut down every street in the quarter. It was amazing. Just like DJs on like petty carts and stuff. It was sick. And I kept saying, like, I said to my wife, what did we pay $140 for again? And what I mean by that is, what was that?
I have no idea, man.
I'm echo. Oh, I got a little echo. Is it like internet issue? I think it's the Mardi Gras police not want us to talk about Mardi Gras. I was the feds.
You freaked out for a second, and then you're fine. So you sound
I know. It was the feds. That's the feds tapping in. So when I say like, what do we pay $140 for? What I'm referring to is Mom's Ball, which is the most like. Now, if I still had a good time. I want to say it like this. So I did the Mom's Ball the way it was supposed to be done, to where I knew a girl who was working the event, who had me get in contact with a lady who I had to meet at a bar and within like a 2-hour window to buy a ticket for this thing. Oh, I'm sorry, not a ticket, an invitation. Right. And so,
but you had to buy an invitation.
I know exactly. $140 for two people so $70 a piece. Right. And you have to have a costume, whatever. So I had a costume and so I had a costume.
What was the costume?
It was stupid. It was just like, I don't know. It doesn't even matter. This is the whole story. It doesn't even matter though. The costume, I'm gonna admit right now, because I had been costuming all Mardi Gras. Like my Mardi Gras Day costume was sick. Like my other costumes were sick. But it's like, okay, one more thing. So I did not put all the effort into this thing that I could have, right? So the guy at the door, and I really hope somehow this gets to him. The guy at the door dressed like a strawberry. And I'm like, he's like, oh, I can't let you in because you're in street clothes. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, you can be like, you didn't put enough effort in here.
Hold on, strawberry.
Yeah, but we're not talking about street clothes, bro. Like, whatever. And so I'm standing there with my wife, and she's just like, well, what do you want to do? You want to run home and do a thing? And I'm like, I'm already mad because I'm seeing the people who are dressed around me going into this thing. And I'm like, these people are in less of a costume than I am. And they're walking through. And so I'm like, what we're going to do here is we're going to wait. Because I kind of like the Terminator. I just pick out 2-3 people. And I just am like, if these people walk through this door, I'm going to lose it. And like clockwork, he escorted them right in. And so I got somebody else who was working the event. I said, ma'am, excuse me. And I said, I'm going to have to take a breath because it's not your fault. Like the same thing as like you're at Arby's and they give you a Pepsi instead of Jamocha Shake. And you're like, this isn't the biggest deal in the world, but we need to address it. I'm like, okay, woosah, let's all take a breath. Yeah. I'm about to lose my mind because that guy who's escorting that guy in shorts and a little fluffy pirate shirt in the door said that I wasn't in enough costume to go in. And she said, oh, they have to go to costume jail. And I said, costume jail? Tell me about costume jail, because I didn't know costume jail was an option. I was not aware of this. And so she's like, yeah, you just go in this tent and we just zhuzh you up. We have stuff and we're just going to zhuzh you up and then you go in, you're fine. And I said, okay, you want to go? And I'm like, absolutely. I'm ready to. And so I'm in there and she's like, well, what do you want to do? Let's pick out a thing. And I'm like, I'm the one in costume jail. You can put me in the most ridiculous thing you want. Like, I'm the one here. And so she's doing the thing. She's like, oh, you look so good in this. And then I put on stuff and I see the guy and I get right in his face and I go, oh, costume jail. Costume jail is an option. I said, I wasn't aware that costume jail was an option. I thought I had to go home. Looks like I don't. Looks like I'm here in costume jail. And he looked down at the floor and walked off. And I'm like, I wanted to beat him. I wanted to beat him to a pulp because obviously like I hate to be like, bro, when you're sitting around here watching these people walk in, right? And let's be real about what it is. It's a party in kind of almost the CBD that starts at 8:00 at night and goes till 5. The majority of people are not going to look like me. And I'm like, what? And so I'm like, what is going on? Because if we have an issue, bro, I have no problem.
You
We
mean
can go
white
right
people.
across here. Exactly.
Mhm.
We can go right across. We can go right across here and hash out our issue. But of
Mhm.
course, he don't want to do none of that. And I'm just like, so and mom's ball, and so I'm already soured on it. And all my friends, and he had to feel stupid because like at least 5 people who worked the event were running up to me like, Robert, you're in costume jail. Ha, ha, how's it going? I'm like, not good. Let me tell you this. And then he had to feel dumb. But the thing about it, so I already like that.
Maybe
that
he's a costume prison abolitionist.
well, I mean, that was the thing, right? So I'm like already soured on it. And all mom's ball is, and I don't mean to take this away from the people who enjoy mom's ball, who's been going forever.
Yeah, whatever.
And they enjoy it, right? Maybe it was different back in the day. An old timer talked to me and said they've been going there for 20 years and they said it was way different, way better. All mom's ball is now in its current iteration is just Buku Festival at night. There wasn't even a place where I could get water. I had to buy like $4 bottles of water. You see what I'm saying? Like the parties that you go to in New Orleans, that I'm used to going to in New Orleans, have EMS on standby with Narcan. And they're at a minimum, you're not going to pay for water because they don't want people falling out. Because you don't know.
Dying.
Yeah, you don't know what kind of, experimental hallucinogens these kids are on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, this is no different. This is no different than I could have went to any other, real Mardi Gras ball. I could have, from like Orpheus or like any other Zulu or Muses, anything like that. It would have been the same thing. And I'm not mad at those things. What I'm mad at Mom's Ball about is that they market themselves as this exclusive party, and it's not. It's not exclusive. There's nothing special about it. I went to a ball. I went to Apocalypse Ball this year. Was in the backyard of a couple people's houses, and they cut off tickets at 300. That was exclusive. That was real Mardi Gras. That was fun. And again, no hate if you enjoy. I will probably go to Mom's Ball again. I'll probably go again. It'll be fine. But I will not put a lick of effort into it, and I will not be hunting down tickets. I'll be doing what everybody else does: is buying their ticket, their exclusive ticket that there's hundreds of them for the day of the event that you can just buy off random people on Facebook Marketplace. I hate that kind of like. It goes back to if you are listening, if you listen to our earlier shows, like it goes back into like why I like Disney, because like Disney is a land of imagination, but at the end of the day, you're going. This is a corporate thing, and it's not really trying to hide it. It's not really lying to me about that. To where Mom's Ball is actively lying to me, trying to get me to believe this is something. This is just not another concert.
And again, the sort of like corporate ball side of Mardi Gras, and then that is the part of it that I just generally like the least. I've never been one to go to those kinds of things. Like I'll go to the parades, I'll hang out with people, I might go to one thing here or there, but like I don't know, like I'm just like there to hang out with the riffraff. I'm there to be a part of the party that we throw for ourselves. I ain't there to go and like be in the ivory tower with the hoity-toities. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, that's the part of Mardi Gras I always messed with, and I always had like fun at. Like I would go hang out with friends and like see like the whole thing about Mardi Gras for me was always seeing friends on the parade. Because when I go out there, I walk up, I walk down, I walk side to side. I see everything, I see everybody, and I just sort of like run in because there's so many people and there's just like so much going on. That like, I don't know, that's really good for my like ADHD sensibilities where I'm just like, wow, there's just a lot of crap that I can just be looking at and seeing and hearing and smelling. And it's just like an overload to the senses. And like, I don't know, man, like I was watching and I'm seeing people post on their Instagram and Facebooks and TikToks or whatever. I'm seeing people having fun at Mardi Gras and I'm stuck up here in Virginia and I'm just like, damn, I mean,
my kind of rule of thumb was always, oh, I'm not going to be in the quarter for Mardi Gras Day. I'm not going to be in the quarter for Mardi Gras Day. And there I was in the quarter for Mardi Gras Day. Now I wasn't on bourbon or anything gross like that.
No.
I was like on the Riverwalk, like down French Market. Like we went to MRB and got food and beer and like we didn't wait. And it was like, and it really changed my perspective of like, oh, Mardi Gras in the quarter is lit. Like, I mean that, and like I don't even mean just lit. I mean the vibes were correct. Like the vibes were right.
Yeah.
And I
And
was like, "This is the funnest Mardi Gras I've ever had."
And like you go to like the Charter Street bars and stuff like that instead of freaking Bourbon Street where all the like all the tourists go.
Tourists.
You just go to like different parts of the quarter, or like even walk down to like I don't know, man. Like even like Frenchman Street or whatever is cool, like the Marigny and all that stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, that's where
There's
we
always
were.
like whenever you're just like out there and you're around, you're gonna see people. If you know anybody in city, you're gonna see them out there looking like a fool and doing cool stuff. It's
No,
just
it
like
was-
it's just like what it is. And
Right.
it's like one of those things I just kind of missed when I wasn't around this year because not working so much these days.
No, I hear you.
So it was pretty cool. I usually do watch just because I hate myself. I do watch the Rex Comus like
Why?
because it is.
Can you explain to these people that aren't from New Orleans like what
No,
that is?
it's like the biggest freak show. You listen to WHIVLP New Orleans 102.3. It's like the biggest freak show in all of New Orleans history.
It's like if they advertised not Burning Man.
Overlords.
What's that thing, dude? What's that thing that Alex Jones snuck into back then? Bohemian Grove. If Bohemian Grove was televised.
Yeah, no, like they have these two balls, the two biggest balls of the year, which is Rex, the King of Carnival, which is like what all these rich MFers have, and then they have the Mystical Crew of Comus. Do you know anything about the Mystical Crew of Comus?
I'm black. What would I know about that?
I
don't want to know anything about
given the option when Mardi Gras went woke, that like, hey, the city was like, hey, if you're not going to let any black folks into your parade, Comus specifically, you're not going to be able to roll anymore. And Comus like looked, they shrugged, and they were like, okay, we won't roll anymore. We choose racism. And that was it. Comus doesn't roll anymore, but they still have their like parade, or not their parade, their ball, where they have like all this mystical, like, what was that movie with Tom Cruise and
Eyes Wide Shut.
Eyes Wide Shut. It's very like a lot of this like mask stuff, but then they also have like these little kids who were like these little boys who are like they're like it's like altar boys essentially, and they just sort of like do a lot of these like ceremony, and they're basically it's basically like these super duper freakazoid rich people in the city who are just basically like, I am royalty. I am literally royalty for one night. Like that kind
you're gonna catch contact pedophilia if you hang around those people.
Oh my god. And it's just like,
bro.
I don't know. They run it on channel 12 on WYES, the PBS channel. And it's just like you have some of the you have live commentary and like these like people whose job it is to be like a gadfly with this kind of stuff, talking about like, oh, this, and like know about these like like these Hitler youth that are like coming through like whatever, and like these like adults or whatever that are supposed to be like taking over the city. It's crazy.
I mean, like the thing about Rex is that they can deny it all they want, but they have to feel some kind of way that
also you don't see a lot of black people at Rex either.
No, that's what I'm saying. That goes in exactly what I'm saying, because I've been down. I've gotten the tickets to like go to Gallier Hall and sit in the grandstands and stuff, and I've also been on the route. And they feel if you ride in Rex, they can deny it, they can cope. They feel some kind of way that the parody of their crew, Zulu, that rolls ahead of them, that when Zulu's last float is done and their first, the king and queen are coming, people are packing up. They can cope with that all they want. That has got to make them feel some type of way every year, because the only year I ever saw Rex and Rex come right after, because usually I'm way gone, but like I was at Gallier Hall, and so Zulu came through, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna watch a couple. I'm gonna see Rex for 2 minutes. And I stood there and I waited for, and people were around me were just like, well, like nothing was going on. They were like, well, time to go. Boop, boop, packing up their little coolers, popping their little chairs, folding them up. Just like Gallier Hall was empty when that thing came through, and I was just like, wow, they feel some type of way.
And you know, Zulu's got its own problem being about the black elite in New Orleans or whatever. But like the difference is that Zulu's a fun parade, and
that's not even. Go ahead, say your thing.
Well, Zulu is fun, and Zulu is cool, and Zulu like there's a lot more like to look at and see, and there's a lot honestly there's a lot more history to Zulu than there is to Rex, and Rex is just like this, you know, this sort of like we're just like, you know, stick up our own butts sort of
thing. Louis Armstrong was the Zulu king, like it's, you know, fantastic. But I know what you're saying. So now this is interesting coming from the political talk show, because now we're going to get into issues that we've had before, issues that I've personally got into with your friend Ben Burgess, like race versus class, and to where like Rex is all about race, where like the things that are wrong with Zulu are class.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with race, which I couldn't objectively, I don't know which one's better or worse. I can't make a call on that, but that is what it is. If you have enough money, you can ride in Zulu. Or if you know the right people, it doesn't matter if you're white, black, it doesn't matter what race you are. Everybody's going to mask up, everybody's going to blackface, and you can ride. But with Rex, that is impenetrable. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It is absolutely impenetrable. And there was even a scene in Treme, which I didn't, for HBO shows, I didn't like Treme very much. But there was the scene where the guy needed like a contract bid, and it was somebody from the city. He had to like try to, you know, grease the wheels with the contract bid. He goes, I don't want your money. He goes, what you're going to do is if you want to do construction work in the city, you're going to ride in Zulu. And the guy was like, what? He's like, okay, I'll ride in a Mardi Gras parade. Yeah, it's going to cost you $30,000. Plus, you're going to pay for all your own throws.
Yeah. And
they just sold him like them. And so there he was, Mardi Gras day, white guy, Afro wig, black faced up. Yeah. You know, because he's like, I gotta go pay, you know, drinking and throwing. But that's what he had to do to grease the wheels in the city. So it's like, I honestly can't tell you what's better or what's worse. I mean, honestly, maybe.
No, Zulu's cool. And,
like, I mean, I'm just saying what's worse as far as like, I'm trying to say is like a political thing. Like, is classism worse or is racism worse? Because I will never, nor do I want to be a different race. Like me being black, me being biracial is like such a, like being able to code switch is such a thing. Like, oh, it's like having multiple different cultures of just like African and Irish together it's great. But I will never, but is race worse? Is race worse because I'll never be that? Where at least if it's class, I can aspire. Yeah. And these are bad things. These aren't good things. But I could have enough money. I could roll a dump truck with enough money to somebody and get what I can get.
Yeah. Well, I think the case for Zulu in this sort of deal isn't that hard to make. But like the people have already decided, like you said, they clear out of Gallier Hall for Rex because it sucks. But then at the same time, you have this like trappings of like Rex. They are like literally use the trappings of like royalty and stuff like that. When if you go walking around the radio station, WHIV is like a block away from Zulu Social Pleasure Club. I mean, if you go walking around when they're doing their like elections, they're literally and again, this is like, you know,
brother, that's some old New Orleans politics.
It is like, yeah, and like
it's some Kingfish type stuff, dude.
And it's like, at least it's got like the trappings of this sort of like idea that people get to pick something, as opposed to the like, again, the royalty idea behind Rex. I mean, like that's pretty obvious to me which one, if you want to like, you know, pick between these two, you know, bad things or whatever, which one's better, you know, no problem. It's easy.
But again, going on the theme of how I started with the Mardi Gras ball, how I started with why I don't like, oh my goodness, Mom's Ball, is because like Rex lies to you and makes you think that they're more important than they actually are for some ungodly reason. Zulu, on the other hand, is just transactional. Zulu is, did you pay enough money? Did you, if you want to be the Zulu king, did you have the best open bar? Did you have?
I respect that. I respect that.
Yeah, because it doesn't lie to you. It's honest. Like, you know what the rules are.
Yeah.
And it's kind of that thing of like, again, let's expand on this idea of just like why I have so much venom for the Democratic Party And why, like, when the Democratic Party, when the Republican Party does crazy stuff, I don't have venom for it, because it's like, well, of course, a dog that's foaming at the mouth is with rabies is going to try to bite me. I'm not like, you're a fool if you don't. They're telling you exactly what it is. They're not hiding the ball. So while the Democratic Party is constantly hiding behind norms and hiding behind, civility. And that's why I have all the venom for you. They're lying to you about what they are. All right, Republicans are just like, we're evil.
Let's get into it. So when you were out, and I'm sure you saw this, I saw one of the single craziest things in my entire life last week when Donald Trump brought in, I don't want to get into necessarily the specifics of like where we stand on the war in Ukraine. But like, I mean, I got my opinions. I'm not going to it's not really that important right now to like shop them right now. But like the idea that like Trump decides to have JD Vance and like some like Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend, who like works for like one of these psycho like One American News outlets, starts like dressing down the president of like another state in like the Oval Office, like saying like, why aren't you wearing a suit or stuff like that. I'm just like, you're just like some schlub in the media. And then like the next thing you know, it's like on, and you see like the president and the vice president just like dressing down this guy who's like supposed to be like a United States ally. And I'm just like, look at this. And I'm like, man, soft power is so dead. Like the idea, kayfabe of empire, the like sort of like idea as the United States is the like leaders of the free world, that stuff that we've been told since we were children. I mean, obviously it's BS, but like, how could you look at this? How could you see what's going on with that and not be like, that's messed up, man. That's like what's going on right here. And it's not like these guys like Zelensky don't get worked over in an exact same way when the television cameras aren't on. No, 100% that definitely does happen. But when it's on television, when it's there for everybody and God to see, and every other part of every other world leader who might potentially be an ally of the United States sees that, like, they're gonna just like take one of these people and just throw them to the wolves like this publicly, and then you see like these psychomaniacs like Lindsey Graham, who is the biggest hawk you ever saw in your entire life. Like the morning that this happens, he's like, yeah, like Ukraine, we stand behind Ukraine no matter what. And then after this, he's like, we really showed Zelensky's who's boss, and we like, he can't come into there to like talk to Trump like that or whatever. And it's just like, holy damn, like America is the least loyal.
I mean, we always have been. What did Kissinger say? I think it's a Henry Kissinger quote. It's like, being America's enemy is dangerous, but being our ally is it can be fatal. Sure. And it's like, how do you not? It's like, Zelensky, honestly, he's kind of lucky in a way that he's not going to experience the full fate of what happens when you get in bed with the American empire. It's not, with Saddam Hussein and Gaddafi.
Before you get to there though, like if you are just like somebody who don't watch this stuff on television, who doesn't know anything about this, and you see that happen, how do you not think that's messed up?
It depends. What kind of guy am I? You have to tell me what kind of guy am I.
I'm talking about literal, like you just play League all day or whatever. You play video games. You just like don't care about any of this stuff. You see this popping on your television. What's going on?
Nah, you think it's based?
Huh?
You think it's based?
You think?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, is it like an Asmongold thing? Is it like an Asmongold thing?
Yeah, because you're stupid and you think like, ha, it's funny. Like you think it's based, or you're a Trump guy who's just like, yeah, we showed him. We're not going to give any more money to these guys that scam us. And it's like, we never gave any money to them in the first place. We gave them our old weapons, and so they got to use them. So now we get to buy more new weapons. Like if anything, we should be thanking Zelensky for helping
buying our second hand.
The military and industrial complex keep going. But like, I understand his position, because the first thing I thought about when I did watch it, because it was cringy. It was hard for me to watch.
Very cringy. I
is
mean,
that
seeing anybody get like dunked on by JD Vance, that's a very
that's the first thing I thought
That's
of was
unfortunate.
just like Zelensky to himself is like, yeah, Trump's the president of the United States, and he pulls all the strings or whatnot. But he's like, if you think I'm going to sit here and let the hillbilly elegy man talk to me some kind of way, like you must be out of your mind. And like I mean, if I was Zelensky, I would have got up and slapped the taste out of both of them, slapped the soul out of both of them, because it's just like, what's diplomatic immunity if I'm not going to use it? I might as well flex this thing.
You'd be full of bullets if you did that.
I know. Well, maybe not JD Vance. Like,
Yeah.
I'd slap the soul out of JD Vance. Because what is he going to do? He ain't going to do nothing.
Yeah.
And even because that would have scared Trump enough, because Trump is like, whoa, he's
not a tough guy.
He's still shaky from getting shot. So it's like, whoa, like that scared him. And, what's my theory about the Republican Party? Like, what do I say? It's like, when Trump on stage at whatever debate it was with Ted Cruz, when he called Ted Cruz's wife ugly, if he would have said, Donald, you're going to apologize right now, or I'm putting hands on you, and Donald wouldn't have done it. If he would have just walked over that lectern and just cold clock Donald Trump, we'd be talking about President Ted Cruz right now. Yeah, I'm telling you, he would have won. He would have won the election. I'm telling you.
Ted Cruz is too bitch made for that, though.
Exactly.
And speaking of bitch made, like the Democrats, for real, bro, like they cannot even play with this kind of stuff. Like, it is so crazy. Like, literally, you got Trump on WHW up to 102.3 is good, my comrade. You got Trump like literally up there, like calling like Elizabeth Warren Pocahontas, and she's like clapping or whatever. You got like him saying the Democrats will never ever work with us in a million years, and you have one Democrat who like literally gets up. He look, I don't know much about Al Green. Apparently he's good on some stuff or whatever.
Yeah, he's a lib, but yeah,
he talks up. He says like, you're defunding Medicaid. You don't have a mandate to do that. Respect on that. Then, but like 2 days later, the Republicans decide they're going to do a censure vote on him for the actions that he took. 10 Democrats voted for the censure. Are you crazy, bro? Yes, 10 Democrats voted to censure their own guy for like, I don't know, man. Like, literally, if you're going to do resistance stuff, like, it is basically the Democrats are just like, no, we're not doing none of that stuff. And if you do that, we're gonna eat you. We're gonna punish you. It's, oh my god, dude. I was like, I did not expect the Weimar to be as bad as it was.
I was gonna say, like, if you're not at this point, you don't understand that this is Weimar Germany. I don't know what to tell you. Like, you need to be looking for the exits. I know I am. I'm not kidding about that. But we need to, I'm trying to fix my computer situation here, but because we need to find these 10 that voted, and we need to be calling. I mean, calls don't do anything. I'm not a lib. I'm just saying, to make yourself feel good, we need to be calling all 10 of their offices right now and just tell them, you are an absolute piece of garbage. You are a Weimar Republic Democrat, and I hope that you get midtermed for what that's worth. Like, and that's the thing. Like, so when I say this,
I got the list.
Oh, please go.
Amy Barra, Ed Case, Jim Costa, Laura Gillen, Jim Himes, Chrissy Houlihan, Marcy Kaptur, Jared Moskowitz, Marie Gluskamp Perez, and Tom Swazi.
Yeah, and you all got supercomputers in your pocket, so we're not gonna. You can Google those names and find their office numbers and call them and let them know what you think. Why you still can in Weimar Republic here. But if you don't understand when I say like America's cooked, like that's what I'm talking about. Like you need to be looking. No one's coming. There ain't nobody to vote for. Like, what are you supposed to do? Like, are we supposed to get behind an insurgent candidate? An insurgent, we're supposed to have our own Tea Party and get behind our insurgent candidates like John Fetterman or AOC. Like, what are you supposed to do in this situation? There's nothing you can't vote them out. The rules protect them. It is what it is. So it's either fight or flight, people. And when I talk about fight, I'm not talking about you can't vote them out. Like, you need to figure out what you can do to like slow the machine down from hurting anybody else. And it's just gross. Like, even I'm starting to see libs, even God bless them, Uncle Uncle Sam Cedar, God bless him. They're getting all excited about this insurgent.
Talking about Zoran?
Yeah, for mayor in New York City. And I'm like, oh, sure. As soon as he even peeks his head out, as soon as he becomes any kind of a threat, the full weight of the New York State Democratic machine is going to come down on him, just like they did Indy and Buffalo. So I'm not even getting invested in that. And I feel bad for him because I gave a guy $20. I get his stuff, and I'm just like, bruh, they're gonna mess you over no matter what.
Yeah, I will say that there is utility in like the make them do it sort of thing.
Okay,
but like make them do it. But like I see what you're saying from the perspective of like they're gonna do it.
They're gonna do it 100%.
I do feel like when they pull that card though, they kind of like people notice it, they get pissed about it, and they remember that. You know, and
remember it for what?
Remember it. I mean, again, in the future, there could be potentially like, hey, man, this is effed up. You know, they did this to Bernie, they did this to Zoran. They keep doing this. Now we actually have to do something. I think there needs to be a couple of cases of it.
I'm not asking you to Fed post or get a knock at the door. What I'm trying to say is like when people say like I'm gonna fight, and I'm like, what do you mean by that?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you should stay and fight. What do you mean? Because I don't see. Well, we could vote. I'm like, vote for who? Vote for what? What are you talking about?
No, I mean like there are inevitably going to be people that don't book it, right. And there's gonna be stuff that people are gonna do that to stay here to turn this thing around or fix it or burn it down or whatever it is, and there's gonna be people from the outside who do the same thing in a different way with different strategies, and I think both are necessary.
Now, I did get a little hopium to bring it back to Mardi Gras, to be honest. I just thought about it when I was like, I was on Frenchman, and I saw, hundreds of people in the streets just having a good time, partying it up. And I thought, you know what? If we can organize hundreds of people for this, we can organize thousands of people for whatever. It could happen. And so it's like, and I would say my hopium runs about 1%, but there is some hope there.
It's not impossible that it'll happen.
It's not impossible. It's highly unlikely.
Yeah. So, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you got to deal with the cards that you're dealt. What you don't need to do if you're a Democrat or if you're supposed to be anybody that's fighting against this stuff is just talk about how God is on the throne and there's nothing you can do. You know what I mean? Like, you don't need to be giving up. You don't need to be throwing trans people under the bus. You don't need to be doing whatever it is that the Young Turks are doing. No.
My first response to Hakeem Jeffries, if he's so sure God is on the throne, then he can just give me his job. Then I'll take his job. I'll do it. I'll do it for free. I'll do it for free right now until they assassinate me.
If God is on the throne, then whose side is he on? Honestly, like seriously, like
well. So that goes into my getting. We had a talk like off. About off camera or whatever, off stream about
prior to the show
about mysticism and religion a little bit. And your boy is getting religious in his old age, and I'm starting to see stuff. Yeah, and like I had this conversation with somebody, this woman I know, and she like literally grew up in a cult, and she was like blah blah blah, and I'm like, no, don't be so hard on. I like. You don't have to run to religion, but don't be so hard. I said religious zealotism is not necessarily bad, depending on where it's focused.
The abolitionist movement in the United States was largely fueled by religious radicals.
No, exactly. So, I mean, John Brown was the biggest Bible thumper on earth. Like, so don't. If somebody is a religious zealot, I want to know where they're putting that motion of their zealotry. And the thing about. I'm looking my Erin, my wife sent me a text today.
My wife.
And it said it was talking about some of the Doge cuts. Oh, there you are. That's you. But it was talking about some of the Doge cuts, and it said, she posted this from Newswire or whatever on Twitter. It said Doge effort to sell off federal properties inadvertently exposes CIA black site in Northern Virginia. And I was like, and I replied to her, and I said, I love Donald Trump, old monkey's paw ass dude. And I was just like, because a lot of these people, I was having this conversation with my mom who's really religious, and I said, you know what? I do think Donald Trump is God sent, but not in the way his voters think he is. It's in the most monkey.
Is he the cleansing fire?
Yes, in the most monkey's paw way. Because every time, and I understand, like we've had this talk about accelerationism on previous, when he comes out with something crazy, I don't get upset. I go more, pile it on. Because for us to have any hope, the bottom has to fall out. And I'm sorry it has to be like that, and it sucks. I'm talking I know I'm speaking like I'm Muad'Dib in Dune right now in the third in Dune 3, which I don't know if that's gonna come out because that's when it gets crazy. But he becomes a genocidal maniac, whatever. Mm-hmm. But the idea was to never put up another man as a god king ever again. Is why he did all the evil he did. But it's just that, yeah. So this guy is doing evil, but it's mask off of the American empire, and like it needs to be seen. Countries need to understand. The world's population needs to understand. Our greatest export since 1776 has always been misery, death, and destruction. We have no place in any kind of new world order where human civilization is going to move forward. And that's why I was trying to, the last time I was with Dr. we were with Dr. Alandari and Mark Alandari, and I was like, yeah, this is a video game. It's a beat 'em up video game to where we're at the final boss and the boss is flashing red and he hits harder and he's faster, but he is dying. Make no doubt about it. What you talked about, soft power being dead, our prestige is gone. There's no more liberal rule-based order. Neoliberalism is dead. All the things, and this is monkey's paw for us too, it's leftists. All the things that we wanted to be exposed and we wanted to die it's happening right now, and it's because of Donald Trump.
And the bell is ringing, and it's time to get out and fight. You know what I mean?
Like, absolutely, no, yeah, it is.
One of the things, and we discussed this last week also, that and for better and for worse, but like the Israel policy of the United States, Sabrine, my friend who was our guest last week, she said that it essentially united the Arab states in the region,
exactly.
To an extent that they had not been in such, like, not necessarily lockstep, but in like alignment on this issue, not even necessarily for good reasons. Like Jordan doesn't want
Saudi Arabia
Palestinian refugees. That, like, obviously like there's sympathy there, I suppose, but the cold politics of it, when you look at it from the political lens, from the 20,000 feet, the Jordan does not want to have to absorb 1 million, 2 million refugees into their state. That's going to be a destabilizing force on them. So there's like political realities that have nothing to do with like whether or not they care about Palestinians or not. That doesn't even matter.
Same thing with Saudi Arabia. Like, if you want to pretend that you're an Islamic theocracy, well, now it's put up or shut up time.
But like, again, like there's essentially coordination that's happening at a level that's not been the case since in like 100 years or something like that, or ever before. And that is at least because we have this sort of destabilizing situation. There's a lot of dust up in the air. And I mean, to put it in as sort of like, metaphorical terms or whatever, there's a lot of dust up in the air, and there's essentially forces that are arraying themselves in ways that have not been as such in a very, very, very long time, or again, like I said, ever before. And like that provides, for better or for worse, some opportunities to create resistance. Yeah. There's new avenues for pushing the ball forward, on making things better. It's just that right in this moment, as these things are happening, it's just we got to deal with them as they are. And right. Again, I say this, you say this again. If people want to say that I sound like callous in the way that this is, I didn't want this to necessarily happen.
That's what I was going to say. I have no control over it.
Take place. I wanted the last train, the train off of here with Bernie Sanders.
Right.
The liberals are the ones that chose not to go down that road. The liberals are the ones that chose to put the weakest case, the weakest fighters against this rising fascism forward and have it be. That's our champion. We want Hillary Clinton. We want Joe Biden. We want Kamala Harris to be our champion against fascism. And what did it get us? Where did it put us? It put us on the bullet train directly to hell. It put us in the situation that we all knew was coming when they stepped on the gears, or threw a monkey wrench in the machinery,
Right.
and they're getting what they brought. They're trying to blame it on everybody but themselves. And what are they doing? What are liberals doing in this moment when the chips are as down as they could possibly be? When it is time to actually step up and do something, to stand 10 toes down and start throwing fists, what are they doing? Literally, you got James Carville coming out and saying, we want you to lay down and play dead.
Literally
Don't
said that.
do nothing. Get
Literally
up there and let them beat themselves. Do you think that fascism is going to just defeat itself? Do you think that like Donald Trump and whatever this movement is not just going to be like, oh, look, there's a bunch of space in the that these guys are giving us, we better not take it up? No, they're going to go in there, they're going to charge, and they're going to hit up everything they can. And then also at the same time, and this is again why you can never trust liberals, you saw just today there was another like a series of Democrats who voted to essentially roll back a Biden rule on cryptocurrencies and like all these crypto scams and just like break these things off. So they know that they're in this position to cash in as well. The centrists and the Democrats and these liberals have decided that, hey, we don't want to mess up the bag either. This is our chance too, you know?
No, absolutely. And two things like that popped in my head while you were saying that. It's like, the first thing is, I don't, as a leftist, and I invite all other leftists to take this position to where I've the energy that I'm bringing forward, you know, in now and into the future is open arms and hard lines. So anybody who's like, yeah, that was messed up, I was wrong, like, yeah, come on over, like, let's do it. But I have to have hard lines. I am done debating politics, geopolitical positions, domestic policy positions, again, with my parents, anyone. Our position, and I know it's like only a Sith thinks in absolutes, but we just have to look at reality, reject reality. My political position, that bull crap of, oh, you'll get more conservative as you get older. No, I'll just get more correct as I get older. Yeah. My political position has been proven right by objective reality. You need to sit down
and over again.
You don't know what you're talking about. You need to sit down. You could just look out the window and see that I'm right. Over and over and over again, like you said. No, and so I'm done talking about that.
And again, just sort of like, and I'm getting fired up again, like even when like a liberal like Al Green will step up and like say, hey, don't cut the Medicaid, which, yeah, don't cut the Medicaid. That's like one of the few parts of social democracy that still exists in this country. You have literally, and this is, this makes me mad, but it shouldn't, but I should know better. But you have on CNN, literally Obama's mouthpiece, David Axelrod, comes out and you look, you can say a lot of people are associated close to Obama. This guy was like the top Obama, like,
yeah, he was
guy. He was like a high level Obama campaign manager type guy. He comes out and says that what Al Green did when he said that when he got kicked out of the rally that they call the State of the Union or whatever, he got kicked out of it. David Axelrod says that it was disgusting, that what he did was despicable. Wow. And like, okay, fine. Fighting back against the slashing of Medicaid to like the tune of $800 something million is despicable. I mean, and again, you see other liberals like Ethan Klein and all these other freakazoids who, when Hassan Piker, our pal, he says that if you he probably could have used a different word or whatever, who cares? But he said that if you actually cared about fraud in Medicare and Medicaid, you would kill. He said this. He would kill Rick Scott. Yeah. Rick Scott stole like $1.8 billion,
and killed a dog.
Okay, apparently killed a dog.
Yeah, seriously,
which is arguably worse.
Terrible.
But like he defrauded Medicaid and Medicare to the point of like $1.8 billion, and he ended up actually getting fired or relieved of his position as an executive in one of these fund managers that dealt with this money, that did the fraud, and like got sent walking with like $10 million as like a golden parachute. and now he's a U.S. senator. And it's like, these are the people, like literally Donald Trump and Elon Musk, who are coming in there and they're saying we're cutting government with a chainsaw. We're going to find the waste, fraud, and abuse of this. They were putting him forward, Rick Scott, this guy who defrauded Medicare and Medicaid to the tune of $1.8 billion. They were like, you know what? We need him to be the Senate leader for the Republicans. It's like, okay.
No, and then on the other side of that, you got
they really care about waste, fraud, and abuse, I guess.
They go, why I don't get too excited about what Republicans do, because they go out and they say they're evil. But like, you've got Hakeem Jeffries on the other side, steady asking me for $20 in my text, steady in my DMs trying to get $20 up out of me. But then him going, well, we don't have any power. The Democrats we don't control it. We can't do anything. Is that what Donald Trump thought? Is that the Republican Party thought when they got booted out of power? Is that what they did? They just said, well, guys, we got to let them do what they want to do. No, they obstructed every step of the way. And you want to talk about power? You want to talk about Obama? You telling me Obama couldn't come right now and do a little and do a little on Netflix or just on a YouTube channel? Just go, hey guys, it's pretty bad out here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna general strike and we're gonna shut it all down until they stopped destroying the government, and then you telling me that general strike wouldn't happen the very next day if he did that? A guy who's not even in any kind of political office anymore, it would absolutely happen. But they're happy doing nothing. They're happy being the opposition party. It's like, it's the stuff we always talk about.
Well, and again, when you talk about fascism, like, and I know you know this already, like, it's not like the liberals don't play a role in advancing towards
Absolutely.
that. Their role in this process, their literal role in this process is the Republicans smash things up. They're a bull in a china shop. They mix it. They make a big mess. They create a bunch of space, and the Democrats come. They clean up the place. They maintain stability. They basically right the ship so that it can keep on sailing in the same direction. And again, people like us, people who are actually paying attention, and also like people who aren't paying attention. When Joe Biden gets elected in 2020 saying, I'm going to forgive student loans to a certain extent, or when he's going to, push for the PRO Act or whatever, and he can't deliver it on that, what does it make him look like? It makes him look like a loser. It makes him look like a liar. It makes him look like somebody who's not interested in advancing the interests of working people. And they're right. They're right. So like, they come to the correct assessment that these people don't represent us. They don't represent working people, so they can F off. We'll vote for Donald Trump. That's way cooler anyway. He's got a chainsaw or whatever. He's doing crazy stuff. He's saying crazy things, and he's dunking on his haters. Like, come on, man. It's not that complicated.
The one thing I can say for the younger generation is that they don't have a third way Clinton or an Obama to like kind of hold on to with like this nostalgia. And so they're kind of operating from like, oh, this is what it actually is. Like the Democrats are bad. They've always been bad. They don't have a positive idea of the Democratic Party, which they shouldn't have at all, which nobody should have a positive idea of any political party, because it should just be transactional. Like any other business transaction. You give me, I give you vote. Yeah, that's how it should be anyway. But I think that's a hope. But again, I don't know, besides just actually physically shutting the society down, what I don't know where to tell those people to go.
We might be too close to the iceberg. The iceberg is dead ahead.
Yeah,
and there's no way to turn the ship like fast enough to escape the whole situation.
Because I can't ask the youth, oh, you should run for office. Why? So you can be OC. Oh, you should vote for so and so. Why? So you can get a John Fetterman. Like, no, I can't ask them to do that.
I will say there's a significant difference between AOC and John Fetterman, but I will also say at the same time that you can expect more from someone like AOC, because
you can, but she got when she stood up there and sold her soul. And I don't hate her. I would sit down like if she was like, oh, come meet AOC at a thing, I would get a picture with her, like the whole bit. But when she stood up there at the DNC and sold her soul and told that lie about Kamala Harris and Joe Biden are endlessly working for a ceasefire, and then she got what she deserved when they bypassed her. So a dude with 50 different types of cancer who's 1,000,000 years old. And I was like, you got what you deserved 100%. You laid down with dogs and you got fleas.
Yeah, I feel a little bit differently about it, but like I definitely understand like why.
But she needed that. But she could come out better because she needed to understand. Now, hopefully, if I'm going to say a glass half full, hopefully she understands she has no future there. Yeah. Like there's no her future at best is to be another Bernie Sanders, which isn't a bad thing to be.
Yeah, and honestly, like if there's nothing else that could be taken away from this, and maybe that's a lesson that somebody like her had to learn the hard way.
Right. That's what I'm getting at.
But like there ain't no playing nice with these people. There ain't no playing nice with these people because they will undercut you the first chance they get. They will cut you off at the knees, at the ankles, at the hamstrings, at the Achilles tendon, and cut off your toes the first chance they get. They don't care. They're not there for you. You ain't one of them, and you never will be. And sometimes you got to learn those kind of things the hard way. I've had to learn lessons the hard way in my life.
Same here at jobs. Yeah, think about it. Like, yeah, maybe I am being too hard on her because job.
But I also don't think it's wrong. Right. I don't think it's wrong to expect more. To say, hey, you should have seen this coming. You know what I mean? Like I don't think it's unreasonable or mean or whatever to be like, hey, stupid, that was obvious. You know what I mean? Like, come on, we need to do better. Like, I don't know. I'm sort of like sometimes on because I think at the end of the day, Fetterman is on the demon side and AOC is on like the side.
No, you're right, 100%.
And like even amongst our side, amongst the people that actually want to fix the world to make it better, that have an analysis, something of a class analysis or whatever. Sometimes you got to play rough on the same side. You know what I mean? Yeah. Sometimes you got to knock your allies upside the head and be like, what the hell are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that's wrong. I don't think that's inappropriate. I think that that's necessary to a certain extent. There needs to be some kind of tension, some kind of not antagonism necessarily, but there needs to be some accountability that takes place on the same side. It can't just, but there always needs to be a path to make things better. One of the problems with how AOC with DSA rather handled the Bowman situation with Jamal Bowman was that there was no chance for him to ever make it better. Like there was essentially like hey, you went on this thing, you voted that way, you're bad forever, and you can never make it better. When he proved, in the Gaza situation to be one of the very few voices in Congress that were actually pushing against the genocide. It didn't count for very much. It didn't do very much, but he was one of them. He was one of the few. And if you just burn those off, that doesn't put you in any better of a situation than you were before. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not about purity testing for sure. Yeah. Like I can overlook a lot of things. And, when I say maybe, like you said, like maybe this had to happen to her. And I have now that we're sitting here and talk about it, like my position hasn't changed, but I can have more empathy because I think of all the bad jobs. I was a cop. I was a Marine Corps. I was in the Marines. You think you're going to go to a place and you're going to be like, I'm going to fix it. And everybody sees how well I'm good intentions. Yeah. And like, they're like, oh no, baby, that's never what this has been about.
Yeah.
And you figure it out and you're like, oh, because you're like, it can't be that bad. They couldn't do you like that bad. Like, no, they do. They really, so it's like, yeah, so I can have a lot more empathy than I think I'm leading on.
Yeah. Well, we got to get out of here, but Robert, what you want to say on the way out? We got 10 seconds.
Path of Exile 2 is still great. I don't care what any of the haters say. And
have you played Avowed yet?
No, I'm still I'm chilling. I'm actually one of those old gamers. I'm going back to playing old games. Yeah. I'm playing Elder Scrolls Online.
I heard it was woke, so I figured I had to play it. Anyway, we got to jump. This is WHIVLP New Orleans 102.3. This is Good Morning Comrade. Thanks so much for listening. We love you. Bye-bye.
Bye.